Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with that metalstation.com. And today I'm getting to have a chat with Nolan and Jade from Blood of the Phoenix. They're due to release their debut EP, From What We Used to Know, July 2nd. And I've got a sneaky listen to it, and it's a cracking EP. Thanks for joining me.
Anytime. It's just a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, this is really cool. First off, I want to ask, I'm going to just throw this one out there, totally off the band point, but how did you originally pick up bass, Jade? When did you first start? And tell me a little bit about your journey leading up to Blood of the Phoenix.
So basically, way back in elementary school or high school, like first year of high school, started, literally got into grade 8, and someone was like, hey, and called Children of Bodom. And I had listened to like Elton John beforehand. Like that was like I think the Eagles were like as rock and roll as I got. And then all of a sudden someone was like, yo, listen to this. And I was like, my brain exploded and I was like, this is amazing. And then I got introduced shortly after to Iron Maiden. And one of the friends I knew played shredding guitar. Like he was same age, but could absolutely shred. And so I picked up the guitar and I was super excited. And then we wanted to make a band, but of course we couldn't have two guitarists. So I had to pick up the bass. And I had played it ever since. I've been rocking the 4-string. And I really enjoyed it, mostly because taking it from like not being, I'm not a bassist by definition. So when I play bass, I'm trying to fill the spots that the guitars are weaving, all the stuff that happens with the guitars. I'm trying to leave enough room for. It's something that when I hear a lot of metal bass, you don't hear a lot of it because a lot of it's either really intricate and it gets buried in the mix, or a lot of it is just like, you hear some cool stuff, but you just don't really hear it. And so my bass lines are basically almost all on 2 strings. And but it's more for me about locking in with Nolan with the drums, adding in those big drops, doing a lot of the dynamics that I know with the guitars. Like on our entire EP, I don't think there's one like we have to build those dynamics another way. And me and Nolan do such a great job at having those starts and those stops and then the build-ups, and then like at the end of one of our songs, like Nolan starts with just a one, a certain kick pattern and he doubles it, and then by the end of it he's just going like absolutely nuts. And I'm doing the exact same thing on the bass because it's all about that building. And if I just played the same thing for that whole riff, it would sound okay for sure, but it doesn't give you that intensity that I know that the bass can do. So that's kind of my journey of Phoenix, is really just trying to add texture and flavor.
Yep. Hey, Nolan, do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into drums and leading up to now through Blood of the Phoenix to where you are?
Yeah, sure. So when I was about 10 years old, I started to play piano. I took lessons for 6 years with the Royal Conservatory. My grandparents on my mom's side were both really musical in the Vancouver classical scene.
Okay.
So my piano lessons got paid for. I did exams, and at about grade 7 is when the theory starts to kick in. And I really didn't want to do the theory, so my parents wanted me to stick with some kind of instrument, so I picked up the drums. Leading into high school, through a friend of mine, it was suggested I join a band with a couple other guys, and I did that. Where am I going with that?
Your drums.
Yeah, so we were together for about 7 years, and then I left that band and joined Blood of the Phoenix, and here I am.
Here you are. So how did Blood of the Phoenix begin? Tell me a little bit about the birth of the band and how it all started out.
Well, me and Brad, the one of the guitarists, we used to do drugs together, and that was in a past life. And we always talked about getting together to play music, but our addiction took priority over that, right?
Yep.
So one summer, I think it was about a year and a half ago now, we both ended up in the same rehab facility.
Yep.
And we just got together and started playing.
Yeah, music's healing, man. Don't feel bad. We've all had struggles and life, Nolan, mate. I'd overcame a full blown drug habit by the time I was 20 as well. I'd buried a brother very young as well, and for me, drugs was an escape. But music was the thing that kind of found me. I'd escaped to music for so many years, and now I have this outlet that has given me a chance to have conversations and things like this. So congratulations on your recovery, mate. And you know. You're doing well,
Thank
man.
you.
This is unreal, man. Don't ever be ashamed of your journey, bro. It's a journey. Life is a journey, and it gets us to where we're going. It gets us to where we're going, bro. So good on you, man. Can I ask about your musical influences? Kind of tell us a little bit about your musical influences, Jade and Nolan. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll fill this one out first. I think for me, Trivium is such a big impact in the way of
that right here.
It was catchy, it was heavy. You know, same as Nolan, I came from a piano background, so melody to me is so important. I kind of stuff for a long period of time. It's just not really my jam. But Trivium to me just especially like that 7-minute long instrumental, The Crusade, just blew my mind on what metal could be. And just you know, was really seeking into those, As I Lay Dying, Bullet for My Valentine, a lot of like these amazing heavy records, but with real catchy things that I can like just to get stuck in my head for days. That's my jam. That is my bread and butter.
It's funny you said The Crusade, Jade, because you know a big T on the inset of that CD with the kind of looks like the coat of arms. That's the Trivium tat I got done up on the inside of my arm there. I'm not sure if you can see it. I kind of have to twist my arm right around.
Yeah.
I got that one done on the inside of my arm kind of when that album dropped because I was just blown away. But they're a great band. You can't go wrong with Trivium, that's for sure. Nolan, do you want to tell us a little bit about your influences, mate, before I get lost in Trivium?
Yeah, sure. Well, I wasn't like a huge metalhead before I got into drums, right? The first band I joined, they were adamant that I learned a Megadeth cover, specifically In My Darkest Hour. That was the first song I ever played on drums live, and it was such a rush. Ever since then, I've been like heavy into Megadeth. I can't get enough of it. Same with Iron Maiden. Like Jade said, Children of Bodom, they're so sick. Yeah. Lately, I've been really into some death metal, like what's it called? Obscura. Death, such a classic band. Death is so good. I love them. Yeah, lately it's been more death metal for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I've been finding as I've been getting older, it's like a fine wine. I've been getting more into death and black metal the last few years than I ever had. Some of the stuff I listen to now, when I was first getting into metal, I would have been, I know I'd heard stuff like that, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't get it. And even like Iron Maiden, when I was a young fella and I first heard Iron Maiden, I'd heard the Trooper song, and I was like, okay, then I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't really even like it. It was one of those albums that I had to go back and kind of listen to again when I was a little bit older with a bit more mature fucking musical ears that I was able to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I totally feel you, man.
We'll give a shout out to your instruments. What instruments are you using? What rigs have you got set up?
Nolan?
I use a like I have a drum kit in storage,
Yep.
which like I don't get to use my kit because there's no room right now. But I have an 8-piece kit made by a company called Peace. It's a demolition set, so it's called. Istanbul cymbals, some Zildjians, and Gibraltar double bass kick.
Cool.
And I have a bass that is blue.
It's a blue bass. I think my brother-in-law's got his bass back here. They're not my instruments. They're my brother-in-law's. He's a bass player.
Nice.
He's a bass player and a guitarist. Just loves it, man. I was always wanted to be a musician. Tried to play bass when I was younger. I was just never good enough. So here I am chatting to bands instead. So can you tell me a little bit about songwriting for this EP from what we used to know? Can you tell me a little bit about that process and leading into that?
Well, yeah, like Nolan and Brad got together originally and wrote how many tracks on it's the core 3, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, most of the songs we have now come from Brad contributed, obviously, like Jess and Jade, but a lot of the stuff Brad used to play just on his own and in previous bands that fell apart, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, Brad always comes with like, he'll message at like 1 a.m. and send like 15-second snippets of songs. And it'll never be it's up until like last week that he actually started sending full songs where I can actually listen to it. But like until then, it's literally been, oh, check this riff. And then like an hour later, oh, this riff will go next to it. And then like we have to piece it together ourselves. And it's so annoying.
So what was recording and production like? When did you just get into the studio? And tell us a little bit about the whole, that side of it all.
So I've been an audio engineer for the last 10 years. Used to work for Universal Records. But metal's always been my passion. And I've recorded a lot of metal projects of my own because, being in bands and gives you prime opportunity just to record yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so when we I think the third jam in with Blood the Phoenix, I basically looked at the guys and was like, hey, if we want to do some demos, let's just do them with me. And then we ended up laying down the drum tracks and actually just starting the EP rather than just laying down these demos. Yep. Because like Nolan crushed the drums immediately. And we were super happy with them. And at the time we had another guitarist. And they came into the little home studio I've got here, and we did all the guitar tracking here, and then we reamped later, using different sets of amps and setups and things like that, which was a lot of fun to shotgun different tones and things like that. But it really was because even at the time, not all the songs were finished lyrically, so we were finishing things and then sending them to our singer Jess, who would take it and finish things up. And Brad ended up writing a whole bunch of lyrics for some stuff. And just like it all kind of came together as it did. And then I had Jess come in our studio and just, 3 or 4 days of just pounding out vocals, harmonies. And then Jess ended up going and basically doing a lot of the recording herself as well, and just sending that over. But it was just, working with a band like this is so nice because everyone plays really well. It was a very organic time when we recorded. We didn't do a lot of we didn't do a lot of pre-pro. We didn't do a lot of overthinking of this stuff.
It all seems to come rather naturally.
Yeah,
like even as a group,
exactly. And that's what I really like about it, is that we're not we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're not trying to think of like, oh, what's the heaviest breakdown we can ever make. We'd rather focus on writing good tracks rather than being like, oh man, how can we really fuck this up? We'll end up with some really cool riffs that come up. And even with some of the new songs, we have a lot of opportunities where we're like, instead of doing it this way, let's do it slightly, more proggy or something like that. That really allows Nolan and Brad and Jess a chance to really shine and to put a different spin on it, because they all have heavier influences than me, and they'll come up with different things that'll be able to push them. Like our next record will be, I think, a different departure for sure, being a little heavier, a little more proggy, leaning a little more degenty, if Brad has anything to say with it.
Oh, definitely. I'd say that definitely comes along with like producing our own sounds too, though.
Yeah, and you're free to kind of experiment and grow as a band and kind of get that sound that you're looking for as well, and not kind of peg yourself into any genre, because you can listen to that and you can get these metalcore vibes, but you also get these real hardcore vibes off of this EP as well, which was really cool.
For sure. And I think like having Jess with her vocals did a really great job at hitting that prime spot for me between the melodic little hooks and then really just almost like straight hardcore vocals, versus like a lot of heavy female singers have a certain sound to their scream.
Yep.
Jess has a very unique sound to her screams that I think adds a lot of flavor to the record, because it almost hardcore yelling scream more than like some of those other female vocalists that do screams that are just trying to be super 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 low and heavy.
Yeah.
I think Jess has a great range of being able to do a bunch of different things with her voice.
Yeah, she's an amazing vocalist, and I'm looking forward to what's going to come next after this EP, because I've got to listen to it, and it's a cracking EP. And when it comes out July 2nd, I know people are going to be excited about it, especially fans of Blood of the Phoenix. Where's the best place people can get along and chuck in pre-orders and really support you? Because as I was saying to Nolan off camera, I said Spotify are probably going to have someone run me over soon. It's great to get Spotify listens and everyone who does that when the album drops, but buying merch for me is an important thing as well. You know what I mean? Supporting bands and the scene, buying physicals, whether you're chucking in a pre-order over on Bandcamp and actually putting money into the music, because I don't believe artists should give music away for free. I think it's an art, and I love the scene. I love music. I do this because I am a heavy metal fan, but I'm also a lover of the scene and want to support it the best way that I possibly can. So for me, that's, reminding people to get along and support the bands and buy albums and things like that. So that being said, where's the best place people can get along and support Blood of the Phoenix?
Well, definitely Bandcamp is one of our key spots, because it had such a nice job at sending the money straight to the artists. Whereas like, Spotify and things are great because it's accessible and a lot of people already have it, but we don't see a lot of that things like that. The age-old story of like we get 0.0000002 cents every 100 listens or something like that, right? So Bandcamp is a great place just to come support us. We're gonna try and do some really cool things on having some of our merch up there. We have merch on the way. We also want to do some things like when we put out new content, like whether it be covers or fun videos, you want to make those accessible too. Like when you download the album, maybe we'll have some extra songs that we've done or some demos that we're doing that we can also attach on as bonus things, just to further emphasize, because we want to thank each and every person for listening to this album, and we want to thank them in not just, oh, here's a high five for buying the album. We want to give them as much as we possibly can, and so that they have more than just the 3 songs, but they also have a memory to really be like, oh, that was cool, because when I got the album have as like my phone background, or you know, something or other, something that's unique and cool, that, you know, that even if you don't really use it, it'll just stick in your head and you're like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah, well, I buy CDs. I have a huge rack of CDs that I don't even pull out. I just buy them and put them in my rack. I'll usually put them on my computer so I can listen to it through my computer, and then I won't rip them out again. I've been buying records to listen to because of, as I've chatted to a few people, it just has this whole experience that people are forgetting when you get a whole album and you put it in, you listen to from start to finish. And when you buy records, you kind of got to still stay attached to the music as well. You're listening to the album, you listen to the first half, you flip it over, you got the second half, and it's a full experience that people kind of forgetting about, having these albums and buying albums and going on journeys with bands and listening to the music the way it's intended, instead of going, oh, we'll listen to that single and we'll listen to that single, listen to that single.
For sure.
Yeah. Playing live, I've got to ask, playing live, do you have any plans to play live, or what's happening with your side of the world? Are you opening up yet, or?
We're
Soon,
trying
hopefully.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things is that even when able to go digital and to send our performances across the world is something that I think we will still do. Being able to perform on festivals that are digital in Mexico or over in Europe, if we can get on the bill by just being able to record it and do it professionally in our space, will allow us to build and reach new fans, even when we don't have the means to make it over to Europe at the moment and things like that. I think using it is a smart move, and I hope bands continue it, because I loved seeing all these live streams from like bands like Lamb of God did a killer one.
Yeah.
And I was just like, blew my mind. They're all playing in their living room, and I'm just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's been good to see those bands doing that as well. But it's kind of, you do miss that connection with your fans as well. And then getting that digital streaming is great, but then you don't have that connection with your fans, where like bands in the underground scene really do miss that, because people go to shows and then they buy merch and then they go and tell their mates, like, check this band out, and you know what I mean? Those digital streaming things are great. I just want people to remember to always support the band as well. If you love a band and you want to see them keep going, support the band as well. So if they are chucking up paywalls for these digital things, get onto it, watch it. It's going to get a unique experience.
Exactly. And I don't think any of us will miss any of us won't miss ever getting sweaty in the pit.
Yeah.
Getting bathed in beer as some guy's headbanging front row and his beer goes crazy.
Yeah.
I think those moments are.
I'm the little guy trying to breathe in the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same like over there in Canada when you finally do get opened up. Over here in Australia, people have been going fucking ape shit for shows. They've been selling out in, like, we even sold out shows in Adelaide, which is usually one that has trouble. That sold out in 24 hours. This festival is just full of top Aussie heavy metal bands. There's another one in Blacken in the center of Australia, and they're just all going really quick. So I'm really hoping that when shows are going over there in Canada again, that everyone gets along and sees Blood of the Phoenix. Everyone goes to those local shows and supports music in the country you're in, because I really want to see everyone get along and supporting the scene as we all come out of a shitty 20 and now 2021. You know what I mean? We really need that support from the fans, and everyone get along to the shows, buying tickets early, and while you're there, buy a fucking shit ton of merch. There we go. Cool. Okay, then, Nolan and Jade, we're going to sign out. This has been an absolute pleasure to learn more about you guys and Blood of the Phoenix. Everyone, the debut EP From What We Used to Know comes out July 2nd. Chuck in pre-orders over on Bandcamp. When you get it, put it in your stereo, turn it up really loud for the neighbors, because they are going to want to hear this. Last words and shout outs.
Yeah.
Nolan?
No, I'm good, man. Thanks for having us on, dude.
No, it's been good to meet you, man. Really good to meet you, Nolan.
Yeah, a big shout out to everyone who supports local music and independent music worldwide. I mean, we're here to create things that people will listen to. Be creating whether or not it's for 5 people or for 100 people or for 1,000,000 people, but it's people that listen to it that enjoy it is what makes it at the end of the day.
Awesome, Jade. Absolute pleasure to meet you as well. Jade, Nolan from Blood of the Phoenix, thank you very much for joining myself, Crank.com, and that Metal Station for a chat.
Keep rocking.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Bye.